Hello, folks. Welcome to the Crime Dog live stream. I'm your host, Johnny Furica, retired detective with the Rochester, New York Police Department. After serving 30 years, I worked uniform patrol, undercover narcotics, street investigations. I was a hostage negotiator for over 20 years, closing out my career with the fine men and women of the ATF, that is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. There's a federal task force where our main focus was violence and gun trafficking throughout these great United States of America. Sitting alongside me, you know who it is. Side Saddle. He is the man that rides with me all the time. He is a 22 plus year veteran, also a retired detective with the Rochester, New York Street Department. He was a legendary street cop in the infamous, which means more than famous, Genesee section. He was a phenomenal undercover cop. He was a homicide detective. He was on the SWAT team. His resume goes on and on and on. David, welcome to the live stream, my brother.
Good evening. Good evening.
You know what, David? First of all, let me just say this. The amount of show prep that we do for this is
Extensive.
much, but I do just because Danny, our super producer, Danny Agnew, is so busy. I'll send him stuff like today, yesterday, say, hey, these are the things we're thinking about talking about. And he does such a great job in making us look and making the show look good. I don't change gears very often, which I'm not doing tonight. But there's so many things I wanted to talk about that happened after I sent Danny the stuff. But maybe we'll get that stuff in towards the end. Folks, the reason why I do not have headphones on is because my
You
microphone
smashed your microphone and your headphones.
my microphone went broken, and I had just like any grown man, mature man would do. I had an epic meltdown when I found out on live radio on Saturday that I had a colossal breakdown, blamed it on iHeartRadio, blamed it on iHeartMedia, blamed it on the iHeart producer. By the way, Sammy O'Reilly, shout out to that guy because he's what a sweetheart. He stuck with me. He's riding. He was such a nice kid. We never met him before. We're live on the show in between breaks. I'm going absolutely fucking berserkowitz. And David is just because we did the show remote Saturday and we weren't in studio anyways. So David's laughing and I'm going crazy. And then, of course, after the first break, I realized that just like many times in my life when I have these colossal fucking meltdowns, it was 100% my fault.
And it
I
might
had,
have been, and it was witnessed by a lot of people.
yeah, it was witnessed by the studio staff. And, David, you worked with me for many decades. You know I'm a bull in the china shop.
I had no problem with it.
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, well, this is like a fucking Wednesday afternoon 20
Another,
years ago when I watched
another,
Johnny.
another day. Another day is all it was.
Anyways, I hit the colossal breakdown, and what I did was, but I tell you, man, I ended up apologizing. It was off air that I did it, but I apologized to Sammy on air. But man, he was such a great kid, such a great kid. That's why I don't have headphones on. That's why I don't have a microphone in my face. We're working off my computer mic. I had to go online and purchase another one. Those suckers aren't cheap. I tried to go to a couple different places, but they just weren't in stock.
As I say, when I'm the voice of reason, we've really hit the shit, so
Yeah,
to speak.
David. Yeah, you know, I know. It was so funny. Well, you and I both know each other very well, which is why we teamed up. We have very similar careers, very similar temperament, very similar outlooks on life, and especially the job, David. The way you and I both did the job, it was very mirrored the way we did it.
Symbiotic, I think I would say.
Yeah. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Shout out to my girl, one of my good friends for almost 3 decades, Gina Ruggieri, who's
Who's
walking
that?
around. That's the lady, that's the woman that you disrespected. Then she came into the studio, bought you a whole bunch of stuff and balloons on our
Oh,
anniversary,
okay. No, no.
and then
Sorry.
you made amends with her.
Yep.
And
I love
then,
her. I love her.
right now, you love her.
She bought me things. I love her.
You love her. And then what ended up, I remember you mother effed her for going on an Atlantic cruise to Alaska. You said, who the hell goes on an Alaskan cruise?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Whoever goes to Alaska is a little odd to me.
Oh, so now you're calling Gina odd. I've known
I mean,
she's a,
every single human. It's not just Gina. If you get on a boat to go to Alaska,
yeah.
you better have exhausted a lot of other places on this earth.
Yeah, David. Well, congratulations. I didn't know that you were. Hang on, I'm going to adjust my camera for a second, folks. Don't go get mad at me, Danny. But yeah, I mean, you are a world traveler, and going to Alaska may not be on the top of your list. I was commenting on it and saying, "Wow, what a."
Alaska? Would you take a cruise to Alaska?
So here's why I would go. My aunt and uncle, they're now deceased. They retired in Rochester. They moved to Vegas in like 1983. They took an Alaskan cruise and said it was absolutely beautiful. It was unbelievable.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, cuz.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a lot to get over. Shout out to her. Shout out to our guy, Fire Guy. He's having a little bit of a setback, but he's a tough dude. He's gonna get through it. Fire Guy, we're in your corner. We love you. Hang in there, brother. David, that was a fantastic dinner belch just now. We had a great pasta dinner.
Compliments to the chef, Johnny.
What did they do? Remember smoking the bandit?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, we had a great dinner tonight. Anyways, that's it, Danny. Let's jump right into this shit, will you? Let's get at it. Let's get at it. You got
Is,
something, Danny?
Is Danny here?
Did you get
Danny, wake
kidnapped?
up. Danny, wake up.
Did you get kidnapped by the Iranians? Did Trump just take out our producer, Danny?
Put a missile on his head.
All right. Oh, this is the hack of the week because David, this is what we wanted to talk about first and foremost.
I give
We say,
up.
we say it jokingly, but we're not happy about it. But we wanted to get the word out there. David's Twitter account has been hacked. These pieces of shit at Bree Crypto NFTs hacked his account.
Twice. Twice.
Yep. And
Twice in a
David,
week, and I've
you
done
just
everything I can, and it's impossible. If anyone is a computer
you
genius,
know who I want. You know who I think can help you.
I've tried to do everything. I've emailed them 37 times. I've sent them screenshots of this stuff. They keep
Yeah.
telling me they can't verify my account because what happens is they hack your password and your email. So
Yeah.
I don't even have my email is not even affiliated with my name anymore. They have total control over it. No matter what I send them,
Yeah.
copies of screenshots of when I joined. I've even said I'll send you a copy of my credit card bill for being a premium member. No response for 3 days. Like it is impossible. You can't talk to anybody. It's all over email. I'm pretty much off of Twitter, and I don't even know. I'm so disgusted by it. I don't even know if I'm ever going to even join again if they don't fix it.
Well, I sent you a screenshot because I had anticipated them blocking me because I sent them some unsavory. I used my favorite word. Everyone that
The
works
greatest word ever.
yeah, I used the C word on these guys, and because there was some people. I will tell you this, if you don't mind, David, we're going to share. David did not post this. The crypto douches did, and some of the responses, though, David, are actually you'll enjoy them because you got a great sense of humor. Davey D says Boxer S was my midlife crisis car. Anne Marie said sweet wheels. Thanks again for your service. Basically, she thought that you bought that after your hard work.
Folks, I'll never post a picture of my Porsches on Twitter. I promise you that. I will never be that guy.
Wait, hang on a minute. With an you said it with an S, so plural. So you have multiple Porsches, is what you're saying. So Spirit of Rochester said, beautiful car, not bad for a retired civil servant. Crypto can definitely change your life if you have the guts for it. And Danny Agnew's favorite response was from this guy, Rod Redman. Very nice. I have nice shit too. Never felt the need to post it and rub it in, folks.
I agree with Rob.
Who will never get just. And then he hits us with the just saying, which, by the way, is a registered trademark quote of Maddie Miller's mom, by the way.
I agree with everything Rob said. By the way, I would never post a braggadocious item like that.
Well, like I said, listen,
If you
that's
got it, you don't got to show it.
that's right. Toughest guy in the room. Don't tell you this is the toughest guy in the room.
Here, here.
So, anyways, folks, that was our tongue-in-cheek way. David's really does a lot of stuff on Twitter. We're hoping to get him back online. You know, Fugazi and Blue Line Voice, they're very computer savvy. I wonder if they can't hook up with you.
I need some Fugazi Blue Line voice help. Because
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a secret backdoor channel to get a hold of
yeah.
somebody, because all it is emails that don't even get paid attention to. It's
No, I
ridiculous.
know. I wonder if Fugazi could reach out and you got your Instagram account too that Fugazi could reach out to you and Josh could
Yep.
reach out to you on. So maybe that'll
Absolutely.
help out. So, anyways, we just wanted to give a shout out
Thank
there.
you.
Anyways, Danny, what's next there? Killer. Let's do this. Oh, this is phenomenal. By the way, folks, if you haven't seen any of this bullshit going down in Florida, or as my good friend Stu Schumann says, Florida, let's kick it. Look at,
Jeff and Bartlett.
look at it.
It's Jeff and Bartlett.
Look at that. Folks, if you're ever wondering what it was like to work with David and I in the hood, this is very similar footage to what.
243 clearing Jeff and Bartlett.
Yeah. That's Johnny Furica and Frank Umbrino stepping out with a large crowd by themselves. And me and Frank trying to fight them all. Yeah, David, what's going on? I mean, spring break used to be like, you have some drinks, you do some stupid stuff, maybe kiss a girl you shouldn't kiss a boy you shouldn't kiss, and then you go home and some people, not us, you have a ton of regrets, but this has turned into Daytona's turned into ghetto central, and it used to be
Well, Miami's the same way.
Miami's, but Miami has put a lot of restrictions on
Yeah,
it.
they started cracking heads. That's what they did. They
So
started
we,
locking people up and really coming down hard on people, and
yeah,
they had to push them out, because when I was my first 10 years on the job, I probably was in Miami 20 times, just getting hotel rooms and hanging out. It was a great place to hide away. Get a boutique hotel down near Ocean Drive, news cafe down there. Grab some newspapers, a bucket of beers. It was fantastic. And it went to hell, and it went to hell because the ghetto started vacationing there, and it is
yeah,
what it is. That's exactly what it is, and now you're seeing it there. And it's not a race thing. It could be white, Puerto Rican, black, but people that don't know how to handle their business and handle themselves go there and wild out, and and they bring their guns and they bring their beefs, and they don't leave them at home, the beefs or the guns, and this is what we get. Can't have nice things.
yeah. And I know, and I did a little research, a little deep digging into Florida, and that was Daytona Beach. I know. I think the last couple years, you mentioned Miami Beach, South Beach. They're shutting their shit down early. Like they're like not even giving them an opportunity. They always say nothing good happens after midnight,
So they're
but
doing the curfew there.
yeah, Miami apparently, according to the research, did some of that, and then I guess Fort Lauderdale is putting the horses, their mounted unit, and a large patrol. They're shutting down their beaches at 5, 6 o'clock, and they're not effing around.
Let's be honest. Who's hanging out at the beach past 5, 6 o'clock? I mean, and on the West Coast side, where I spend a lot of time, you catch the sunset. So once the sun goes down, and I forget exactly what time, it's later than 5 or 6, but once you catch that, it's pretty
Yeah,
much, ghost town. So it
yeah,
should be clear. Yeah, that's smart.
yeah. That's what they're doing though. But I mean, it's turning into a shit show. But we're flying through. I got some other topics I want to talk about. But go ahead, Danny. What's next? I'm gonna tell you about a man crush I got on a dude too, David. It's not gonna stop. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
Madam President, I wish the
This
senator
is such
from
bull.
Eastern Fairfax could hear himself. Could hear himself. Because this job, we think this job has gotten dangerous in the last couple of years. Well, how many Virginians out there believe that they're in a situation where they need to protect themselves? But yet we don't listen to them. Well, not me, but this body's not going to listen to them because they think they need to have this protection. We're going to carve something out for assembly members. That to me is beyond the pale. General Assembly, we are a citizen legislature. We are citizens just like everybody else. We go back home. We interact with their constituents. We're a part of the community. We are no better than anybody else. And we should never vote for a bill that gives us a special privilege over any other citizen.
Senator from Western.
All right. Folks, for those that don't know what that is, that's the state of Virginia. That chick in the white coat that you saw prominently displayed on the center of our screen, that's the newly elected governor. Her name is Abigail Spanberger. It's David's favorite name in the game. Abigail tried to say that she was a middle-of-the-road Democrat, basically a progressive. A middle-of-the-road Democrat, a little progressive, but not left-leaning at all. She put this big front on. First of all, if you know her background, she was an ex-CIA operative, not operative, but an agent. I don't know much what she did, but she wasn't the one laying in the bushes killing you with a fucking piano wire, let me tell you that. But anyway, she did work for the CIA. She's a scumbag. She gets into office and then all of a sudden does a 180. She's dropping all kinds of taxes on the state. I mean, what she has done through some of her executive orders and things for the people that live in Virginia, even the Democrats in Virginia are like, what's going on? What that video was there's some Democrats in Virginia proposing stricter having gun restrictions, possession, concealed carry restrictions on some of their citizens in their state. However, the bill has a carve out that exempts those that serve in the Virginia state government of those same exemptions, David, that they're trying to put on their citizens.
Yeah, so basically they want to basically mess with the two-way gun right owners' rights, but they want to carve out a niche where they're exempt from those same restrictions. So it's the hypocrisy of the left. Very typical. And while I think it's appalling, it's also like Virginia, if you're dumb enough to
Not
vote.
shocking.
If you're dumb enough, same as New York. If you're dumb enough to vote that way, lose your guns. Tough shit. You deserve it.
Virginia is for lovers. But anyways, David, you had posted some stuff on before your account got hacked. I don't say it sarcastically. I say it as a point of reference. You were talking about last week on the twits how there should be a blanket policy proposed by the U.S. government where if you have a concealed carry in one state, you should be able to, if you pass the regimented, all the things that you needed to go through in that state, you should be able to carry it across state lines, which currently is not the case, right?
Right. And speaking from a law enforcement perspective, if I pull someone over, I don't want to, I'll be perfectly honest. If I pulled someone over and they had a gun on them and they said, I have a gun on me and I'm from, where I'm just making up, I'm from Missouri and I have a gun permit and here it is, I would have to start making calls and checking whether that flew. I mean, to me, that's good for me. If you got a gun permit from Missouri and it looks valid and it appears valid and you're telling me you have a gun on them and the gun matches what's on the permit and all that, like the fact that that there's not a central registry for all these guns and all these registered gun owners with the Fed. I mean, that's 100% the way it should be. You should be approved by ATF to have a pistol permit and to be a concealed carry or whatever you want to say, whatever weapon it is that they want to approve. And once you have that, it's a federal law enforcement two-way ID. And if you go to Hawaii or New York or wherever, that shows you you're good to go. Like that, it should be the law of the land. That's our Constitution. It shouldn't be. This is our Constitution, but then you go to New York and they're going to add all these buts to the Constitution. It's bullshit, and it makes it impossible for a law enforcement officer. No cop knows what's good with one state to another. They don't know that. No one knows. If you asked a New York State cop what if that permit is good in New York, they'd be like, I don't know. I have to look into that.
Yeah. Well, New York doesn't have reciprocity with anybody. For example, what I mean by that
They
is,
did with me. They did with me.
what's that?
They did with me.
So what I have is I have a New York State pistol permit. Okay. The crazy logic of New York State, if you have a New York State permit, you can carry that gun anywhere in the state except for New York City, which is bullshit. Okay, that's bullshit.
I carry my gun everywhere.
Exactly. But the good thing, and David, I think I talked about this with you a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe off air, but I also possess a concealed carry permit. I got it before I retired in the state of Florida. So I can carry concealed, just like I do in New York State, in the state of Florida legally. The difference is, in Florida, it's just a permit. So no matter what gun I get stopped with, they're like, cool, this guy's allowed to carry concealed. They don't check it. They might run it and see if it's not stolen. But all my guns are registered to me and my daughter. So anyways, I could carry not only in the state of Florida, but the reciprocity laws, which means if you carry your guns in any other state, Florida has about 36 other states that they have reciprocity with. So you can go to these other states and carry in those states because you have a Florida permit. I know I'm getting ahead of my skis here, but David, in New York State, this is what kills me. We talked about this, I think, on the live show a couple weeks ago. In 1989, when I was a little 17-year-old
Hooligan.
I was a trainee at the MCSO office. Shout out to those guys because they treated me awesome back then. But it took me 6 weeks to get my permit. There was like no delay, boom, boom. Went to New York State. I got it I got it when I was 18, whatever it was. I don't remember. But anyways, the permit process back then was just submit it. If you didn't have a record and you've never been MHA'd, mental hygiene arrested, you're good to go. Now they make it where you have to go through an 16-hour course. You got to shoot a little bit at the place that gives you the instruction. You got to fill out the permit. And then after you do all that, you're still not guaranteed the permit because then it's got to go in front of a judge. And in Monroe County, sad to say it, don't really care that I say it, but there's a lot of activist judges out there. All of them are Democrat. And what they're doing is, is they're pushing their political left-wing agendas on people and sometimes not even given a reason. They give some bullshit reason. I know a couple people that have not gotten their permits, David, in Monroe County after they jumped through all the hoops that I just mentioned and still not got their concealed carry permit.
Yeah, I mean, the state is anti-gun. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why I'm so hoping it will never happen. But that's why I'm so hoping that there's a bill that, and I forget what legislator has it on the floor, but there's a bill that basically tries to make it a federal unilateral permit to conceal carry across the 50 states. But I don't think it'll pass by any means. But it's a dream, and it should. I never understood why it's not fought. And we pay these NRA dues, and I don't understand why they don't. With all the money that people pour into that, I don't understand why that's not fought.
Why their lobbyists aren't pushing it?
Yeah, why it's not pushed harder. It's just ridiculous. Like,
I just don't think. I think that the Dems have such a stronghold in those states like Maine and Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York. It's just effing crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, so it hasn't gone to the federal court, though, because if it went to the Supreme Court, I don't think, I mean, on its face value, if a reasonable person looked at the Constitution and looked what the states are doing, they're clearly infringing on the rights of gun owners who have already been cleared, like myself and yours, who have a pistol permit, we shouldn't have to then be counting bullets in magazines. We shouldn't have to be saying, "Oh, this stock is too short." There's so many rules that I don't even give a shit. I don't care. I carry the guns I carry. I don't look. I don't know. People always call me and are like, "Well, is this legal?" I go, "I have no idea. I'm
Yeah.
carrying a gun. I carry the guns I like, and I'll make them go bang. They'll go hot real fast, and I don't give a shit."
You know,
That's it.
it was so funny because when I was with the ATF, you were there too, David, prior to me. But the four detectives, the last three that I worked with, JB and Mo and me, it used to be a running joke in the ATF office how the RPD sent the three guys to a gun unit that knew the least about guns, meaning like, you know, we didn't all have armories and we all have a few guns, but we don't have like an armory at home. I don't know the nomenclature. I'm not breaking down guns and cleaning them without my blindfold on. I'm not a gun nut, you know what I mean? But anyways, we used to laugh, and I think it was JB. JB said, "You're right. They didn't send us here for our gun knowledge. They sent us here because we're detectives. We're the ones with the snitches and informants and the ear to the streets
Right.
with the gangbangers. We're gonna get the guns off the streets. We're not gonna tell you how to build them." But
Right,
yeah,
but I also always said, just because you know how a gun works and I know every gun in the world and all the parts of the gun and all the bullets and or all the ammunition and the magazines, you know what? I can make a gun do things that it needs to do. Like,
yeah,
and there's people,
right,
my SWAT brothers and sisters, we put a lot of rounds downrange.
yeah,
You hand me a gun, I can make it hit where it needs to go. Now, you
right.
ask me what part that is, I could give two shits. It's like a car. I could drive the shit out of a car. But you ask me how many,
Carburetor is.
yeah, what a carburetor is from a flywheel, I don't know, and I don't care. But I know
Yeah,
how to drive, and I know how to shoot a gun.
I'll tell you. You know what? Yeah, but dude, man, let me tell you this though. Yes, that's exactly what we're saying. There should be a uniform. That's what we're saying. There should be, if you are a pistol permit holder and you passed all the requirements in your state, it should be a federal pistol permit. That's what we're saying, 100%. David, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, speaking of which, when I'm not going to say his last name, but Patrick, that beautiful specimen of a man that he is. He's such a good friend of mine. I love him. I took a friend of ours who you know, but I'm not going to mention. I said, "Hey man, this guy's got a rifle, Patrick. I want you to show him how to shoot it." You know, Patrick, very proficient with firearms. He's a federal SWAT agent. He's the man, you know. And we're shooting in a field, right? We're shooting in a field, the three of us. Patrick showing my buddy how to shoot the AR and his shotgun, all this stuff. Well, the guy's AR starts to jam. And Patrick in the grass field like disassembles the AR. This is what we're talking about. You and I would never be able to do this. Disassembles the AR like in his hands. So none of the small parts fall to the grass. Disassembles the whole AR in his arms. Reassembles it, tries to shoot it, and looks at him and he's like, "Yeah, this is a manufacturer defect. There's something wrong with this gun." And sure as shit, like me and you would have been like, "We're doing something wrong. We didn't put enough oil in this fucking
I would have
thing."
slammed it on the ground.
Right, right. You would have done Fonzie, punched
I
it.
would have known it wasn't me and said, "This is the gun. This gun's a piece of shit."
This gun
Because it
fucking
can't be me. Because this is a magic finger. And I know how to make it go.
That ain't me. It ain't my.
That ain't me.
It's like my microphone when it broke the other day. Right, it ain't my problem. I didn't do
Listen,
nothing.
like I said in the hockey rink, it's not the wand, it's the magician.
Right. So, anyways, but it was great to watch, and literally not one thing fell out of Patrick's arms. And he looks after he does something. He's like, "Yeah, this."
Well, that's an individual you're talking about that he can shoot a gun and he can break down and he can work on a gun. He's an expert in both areas.
Yeah.
That's very to me that's very rare.
By the way, I just noted I got a spot on my left tit, my right tit. If you're looking at it, I don't know how.
What's
the hell
that from? Is that from Pamtastic's dinner?
No, I think it. No, I think it might have been. I brushed my teeth before I came
You
out.
eat dinner like my son eats dinner. Use your shirt as a napkin.
I need the Joe's Crab Shack
Yeah.
bib.
You just go do one of these when you go to wipe your face, like my son. I'm like, Ash, there's a napkin in front of you. He's like, yeah, sure, it's fine.
Fugazi says there should be no gun permits. Already one called the U.S. Constitution. We don't need a database to keep by the government. Well, you know what, Fugazi, we love you. So here's my problem is being with the gun task force forever. Let me tell you, you know, tracking dudes with my super awesome partner Hee Haw for 6-7 years. Here's the problem. What people don't understand. When a gun is created, let's say a factory, it's created by Beretta. Say a 9mm handgun is created by Beretta. Beretta makes that gun, they stamp it, it's got a unique serial number that's on the plate all over the gun. They ship it to what they call an FFL, to a guy that's going to sell it to the individual. Once they sell it to that first individual, ATF records that sale. This is the only part that I agree with New York State's pistol permit laws. When you take that gun in New York State and I purchase it as the first purchaser, if I decide to sell that gun, we have to do a bill of sale that tracks where that gun went to. In states like Mississippi, Ohio, Georgia, where they have lesser restrictions, that second gun owner after the original purchaser, it's not documented who has that gun. I don't disagree with you often, Fugazi. I never do. I think we're in agreement on this after you hear my explanation. But I worry about the tracking, David, of where those guns go. Because we always say those bad guns that get into the bad guy's hands, those good guns that get in the bad guy's hands, are sometimes made by what we call a straw purchaser. A straw purchaser is somebody who doesn't have a police record, but these illegal organizations, these criminal organizations, tap them on the shoulder and go, hey, go to that gun store. Here's $500 for the gun. Here's $500 for yourself. Then that person buys a bunch of guns. That's how ATF starts throwing up the red flags and tracks these straw purchasers who then take that gun, leave the store with it. It's registered to them. And then when that gun is used somewhere else in that county, state, or all over the country, they'll go back to that person in states like Georgia, Mississippi, Ohio, and say, hey, where'd that gun go? Oh, I sold it to some guy in a parking lot of Walmart. There's no tracking system for that. That's my only issue with it. I don't disagree that it's a constitutional right. I worry about how good guns get into bad hands, David.
Yeah, 100%. The federal concealed carry permit would allow a middle ground where gun owners could have a uniformed ability to carry concealed across the 50 states, while also allowing the federal government to track the firearms purchased by those individuals, and if they're used in crimes or are misplaced or stolen, they could be tracked. So it's a way to have some tracking, but it also doesn't have this disorganized free-for-all that is right now. The law of the land should be the law of the land, and it's part of the Constitution. What's right in Missouri should be right in New York, and you shouldn't be able to tweak with that. Just like you can't tweak, in my opinion. Free speech is free speech. You know, these are all things that are what we as U.S. citizens have as rights, and it shouldn't be able to be tweaked like that by the different states. Those are the laws of the land. It's a federal thing.
Yeah, Fugazi says, I understand. By the way, he's right here, too. Once you do open that door, it's a slippery slope. And he's 100% right. Bad guys always find their way to get their hands on guns. One of the ways they do it is they find out who's got guns in their neighborhood, legally possessed, legally owned, legally purchased, and they do burglaries in those homes and steal the guns. So you're right, Fugazi. You always see eye to eye, brother. But yeah, there has to be some tracking. That'd be something, that'd be something, David, that from our side of the aisle, the rational side of the aisle, where I would give that up and say, listen, man, we'll give you tracking. You can track the gun, because anybody that legally wants to possess a gun doesn't give a shit if the government knows how many guns you have. Obviously, unless the wrong government gets into power, I know that. But if I legally possess a fucking gun, I don't care who knows it.
Well, But I like how the only thing I like about what New York does is the fact that I like that you put your guns on your permit. I think
Yeah.
I don't like I spent a lot of time in Georgia. You could have 57 guns in Georgia and no one knows. You should, if you have a gun, you own a gun, your gun should be on your permit and it should be able to be traced. And that's
Yeah.
to cover your ass as well as, because what happens if I have a gun and I bought it and it's tracked back to me and you kill somebody with it?
Yeah.
You're gonna, the first person they're gonna come talk to is me.
Yeah. You're the first purchaser.
And they're like, well, did you have this gun? You bought the gun. Where's the gun? If it's on my permit, at least I have some tracking of like, look, it's on my permit. It was stolen from my house. I called it in. Like, people that in Georgia, these guns go all over the place. Billy Bob has it. Jimmy has it. Steve has it. It's all over
Yeah.
the place. So
Yeah.
I like that you have a gun assigned to you, if you will, just like
Yeah.
we did in the police department. I had my gun. It had my serial number. It was associated with me. Johnny couldn't use that gun. If he did, and they saw he used it, there'd be questions asked, unless it was an emergency situation.
Yep. 320 FFLs have closed since 2020. Ammo background checks and semi-automatic push. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh my god, I forgot. The ammo background checks drives me insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've had guns since what 1997, and I walk in to get a box of ammo, and I gotta wait an hour and a half to get a background check done on me. I mean, it's just bullshit. That's
No,
horrible bullshit.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I went in. So when my daughter got her pistol permit last.
So I smuggle my ammunition into the state, just so y'all know. I smuggle that shit. I ain't doing a background check for nobody.
Hey, and you use maple syrup, the old bottle with Ain't Your Mama on the label.
Listen, I bring my own maple syrup. My daddy taught me that. I don't use the maple syrup at the diner. I bring my own, the good shit.
You're crazy, man. You crazy. But yeah, you're 100% right though. But you know what's funny about that, David? When so my daughter got her permit. I told you this. I've said it on the air before. I went to the store. We got two guns that she liked. She liked the 9mm. She liked the 380. I'm a Glock guy. You know I'm a Glock guy. But she liked the 380 and she liked the Glock. I'm sorry. She liked the Glock 380 and the 9mm. So we got her both of those guns. And I went and bought her some 380 ammo. I walked into the store and very cop friendly, great dudes out in Henrietta. But they're like, hey, you got your ID, you got your pistol permit with you? I'm like, holy shit, I forgot you need your permit and your license and everything else to have.
And your birth certificate and your firstborn son's middle name and
how much you bench, your 40-yard dash time. Okay, what's Fugazi got to say? Even with ex-cops, this is one we can disagree. Also, there's a rash. Oh, yeah, 100%. Fugazi, you know we love you, man. You're my fucking guy. With any instrument, those who know how to use, those who don't, whether it's a weapon or an instrument of music, it can be used. Yeah, 100%. You're 100%. David will kill a guy with a guitar, smash it over his head, or shoot you. It doesn't matter.
He's got to die. He's got to die. He's got to die, right?
If he's got to die. It's like you like Dolph Lundgren from Rocky. If he dies, he dies. What's next, Danny? Oh, yeah. By the way, this is one of the ones. By the way, this is how symbiotic me and Danny, our super producer, are. Shout out to him.
I'm not included in these meetings, so I can't be symbiotic.
David, there wasn't even a meeting. First of all, I'm going to talk. I mentioned a man crush earlier, and he's probably not going to be happy that I said this. No, Danny, I have a man crush on you too, but Kevin Williams.
But he's not talking about you.
I'm not talking about it. Not in this instance, Danny. I do talk about you, man crush. But I will tell you this though. I wanted to bring this up tonight, but this one was Dave's got the case of the gigs again. Look, Danny, I do love you, even though David talks shit about you on air. I don't, but anyways, I wanted to talk about this, and Danny's like, "Hey, I want to talk about it." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And this is the dude I got a man. Kevin Williams, the former weather gentleman from local TV. I think he's retired now, but Kevin. I wanted to tweet something about this, and then all of a sudden, Kevin put out a tweet that was really great. I don't know if you've heard about this, folks, but New York State's trying to pass legislation that says lights out. They're trying to conserve energy. This is the worst thing you could possibly do, especially in a crime-ridden state like New York. What they want to do is they want to basically, I think it's really from 10 p.m., not 11 p.m., but it's 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. They want all the lights out in New York State, which is the dumbest fucking thing you could possibly do.
Who wants this?
They're
What
putting
what retard came up with this?
They're kind of, I don't know exactly the legislator, but the New York State legislature, the assembly is considering having a lights out New York. It is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Folks, the most important thing at night that you can do besides locking your car doors and locking your house is having a properly lit home, a properly lit domicile inside and outside, especially the outside. Criminals are like cockroaches. They do not like the light.
So what happens if you turn on your lights?
When you have lights on the outside of your house, they're less apt to come.
No,
Do...
but if you turn on, if this law was passed and you kept, and I was like, you know what,
Oh,
kiss
I
my
know.
ass.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Who's going to enforce it?
Another law I'm gonna break.
No, David. You know what they'll do? They pass all these laws. They put fines on people and leave it up to the fucking cops to enforce their bullshit. And then years later they'll be like, "Oh, it's racist. Sorry, Mrs. Johnson on Conkey. We gave you a $3,000 fine for having your porch light on. We won't give it to you, but we'll give it to whoever, Jim Anderson in Pittsburgh, because you know what." You're gonna have your lights on. We'll give you the
Because
fine.
fuck Jim, he can pay it.
Yeah, Jim will pay it. Sorry, Mrs. Johnson. We didn't mean to give it to you on Conkey Avenue. It's such bullshit. What's next, Danny?
Lights out.
Lights out. Wants to add 25 when you renew your registration for free public. Yeah. Al, first of all, great point, Al. What's hysterical is you see how they nickel and dime you. They throw little fees here and there to fuck with you. Anything that they have that they can add money to, they do. They throw little fees here and there. You know, it's just a crock of shit. This is what New York State does. Which, by the way, which was one of my other topics. This is what's Rance got to say. I will revolt if I get old. Exactly. It is a death sentence, especially if you live in a city. Got to have your lights on. But what's amazing, though, with this lights out law, if they pass it, this is another reason why veneers / horse teeth, Kathy Hochul, she literally was at some conference speaking, talking about how there's this mass exodus of not only New Yorkers, but businesses that are in New York. And they're fleeing to states like Florida and Texas. And she's talking about, oh, yeah, and you know what, we got to start being more hyper conscious about what's going on with our business tax. Well, no shit, Kathy. Everyone's been saying that for like the last decade when the woman groper, abuser, elderly killer, Cuomo was in office when he was taxing all his rich buddies. But at the end of the day, David, it started with him. It continued with her. She was his lieutenant governor. And now they're looking up going, oh, where are all these businesses and where are these people going? Well, they're going to states that are more friendly to businesses and more friendly to people. This is a huge problem. It's a huge issue.
Rich people don't get taxed. Rich people don't pay taxes.
Yeah. But anyways, it's just amazing though. You know, it's these crazy ideas that come from New York State just F up the state. This is what gets people to leave, you know. You're right, Al. People are leaving New York State. What's up next, Danny? Oh, big of this fight. This kills me. Rochester needs volunteers to help vet police recruits. Danny or
if
David,
I had papers on my desk right here, I would literally just have thrown them in the air. Like, it's over. Reading that, it's over.
Okay, so basically, the Democrat and Chronicle, which is arm of the Republican Party. Let me just read some of this bullshit to you. This is not a slam on the Rochester Police Department. It's not a slam on our recruiting division. It's not a slam. Our guys and girls that are in our recruitment and backgrounds are doing their best. And I'm not trying to be a fucking politician, okay? They're trying. I've said it on live radio. I've said it on our platforms. They're going to job fairs. They're going to college campuses. They're going to military bases. They're going fucking everywhere they possibly can. Nobody wants to be a Rochester police officer because of the shitty way it's being run, the city, and the lack of support that they see that's not there once that the cops there are hired. They see this. They see the anti-cop rhetoric from 2020. They see the defund the police bullshit. They see city council, which is so left-wing fucking radical. I've never seen anything like that in my life in the city of Rochester. It's getting more and more radical. And now what they're going to do is they want a civilian panel. But here's the best part of the panel. Ready for the qualifications, David? City resident, 21 years old, possess a GED or equivalent, criminal background check, agree to serve 2 years, plan to attend the Citizens Police Academy, civilian review panel training. And here's the best part. Here's the best part, David. This made me laugh so fucking hard. Be available during business hours to conduct candidate interviews. So if you're a productive member of the Rochester community, how the hell are you going to
have a job? In other words, you have a job, a job.
Right. How are you going to be available to sit on this board? Who the hell? So basically, they want volunteers to vet the candidates. First of all, folks, newsflash, and listen, rants and those that live in the city, there is a huge crisis right now. I'm not trying to yell fire in a theater. I've never bullshitted anybody on our podcast. We call it like we see it. This is our home Jersey that we're mother effing right now. Okay? We're mother effing the city of Rochester, the people that put paychecks and food on the table for my family. However, we call it like we see it. This is, I don't know what they plan on doing. They can't even get recruits to have them get vetted by this potential volunteer board of whatever it's going to be.
You can't get people to sign up to take a test for a job where within 3 years of taking it, even with a high school diploma,
with no work,
you're going to make, without even trying, just by being a police officer, just by mandatory over, you're going to make, I'll throw it out that you're going to make $200,000 a year without even trying. You're going to make, every 5 years, you're going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
And you can't get people to sign up for the test, not even to take the job. You can't even get them to ponder the chant. They're like, hell fucking no. That's how bad it is. So people bitch about the pay. You can't even get people to even take the test to be a cop, let alone be a cop.
Yeah.
For $250,000 a year.
Yeah. And by the way, nice
job.
You could make, by the way, I don't know who Joey Nux is, but that's a great screen name, by the way. Thanks for joining us, Joey Nux. But yeah, you're not going to get anybody to work for Malik. The sad part is Malik is probably the most rational person at City Hall.
Right. But Malik's the least of the problems. It's the idiots on city council.
Look, here's the thing, David, and I'm not beating a dead horse, but when we took the exam, we're not being braggarts, but when we took the exam, and I'll give a big range, if Newt's on tonight, it's somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people that used to sign up on a Saturday, and they wanted to be RPD cops. That's just new recruits going to the academy. They also had a list that was a fucking mile long in the chief's office of what they called lateral recruits, people, guys and girls that were already cops in other jurisdictions all over the state that wanted to work for RPD. That list was longer, than George Floyd's criminal record. I mean, it was a Santa's list of people. And there were some top dudes and girls on those lists that they got to pick from, cherry pick from. You have to pick of the litter.
The only 100 I ever got in my life was on the Rochester Police Department exam. I got a
94.
And I was 90th on the list, okay? Which sounds high, but it really wasn't, because there's a lot of people that are 90th. It's in bands. Yeah. So, which was great. I literally fell out of the rocking chair when I saw I got 100.
Yeah.
I was hungover as hell when I took that test, by the way, which probably helped. But it's the only 100 I ever got, and I think 7,000 people took the test.
Yeah,
and I got 100. It was crazy. It literally was hit the lottery. I hit the lottery. It was literally was like hitting the lottery.
It was
And
literally
that,
like, and guys in our generation, David, when we got hired, the one we got hired, you were competing against. I mean, the backgrounds at those times were so easy to do for the background guys because you
yeah, are
literally
you perfect? Are you perfect?
that's what you literally had to be perfect to get hired back then. No criminal record, no traffic record, no financial records. And the reason why they look at your financial records is because they don't want you reaching into fucking dickbag dope dealer's pocket with a fat knot of 2 grand and saying that you're going to turn it in for evidence and stick it in your pocket. And they don't want someone with a shitty traffic record too because they don't want you driving these cars basic like we ended up driving them.
They
But
they scrutinized my background. The thing they scrutinized on my background, and they literally, I got interviewed about it multiple times, and my polygraph it was fights in hockey.
right,
They asked about me fighting on the ice during a sport where fighting was not allowed but part of the game, and I
yeah,
had to explain that. That was the big hang up on my background. Today, that would literally be like
yeah.
not even that would be like glossed over, like you haven't robbed a bank yet. Like, I mean,
Well, listen, they would pluck you from the academy and make you police chief tomorrow. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable. And listen, this isn't a slam. It's not the kids' fault that are getting hired today. Which, by the way, they can't even put academy classes together. They can't even. I mean, they keep getting canceled and they keep lowering their standards. And listen, we've said it to Justin Collins. Justin's a sergeant on recruiting. Him and his team, they do a bang up job. They try their asses off. But at the end of the day, when Justin was talking about, having, getting hired later, New York State actually extended the age limit because it used to be you couldn't be over 35 to be a cop. Now they extended it to close to 40, I think, at the start of the academy because then you can correlate 40 or 42. This way you could correlate it with a 20-year career and you could retire when you're 62. But the bottom line is, and I've said this to Justin privately and publicly, I understand even, you know, I agreed with him on air about, I understand you're not getting some sloppy dude, but you're getting a military guy. He's got his shit tight, had a great career, wants to be a cop, he's in shape, he's a runner, da da da. I understand that. However, and David, you and I talked off air on this, a 42-year-old military recruit was not running and gunning with me or you when we were 23 years old in the hood. They were not keeping up with us. There's no effing way. I don't care what shape they thought they were in. There's no way a 42-year-old dude was going to be able to ride in a car with a guy like me without wanting to say, put me with someone that's not as crazy as this fucking kid. He won't stop working. There's no way. I don't care how good they are. There's no way, and there's no exceptions to that. I'm not bending on that. There's no way. Rough Montanelli wanted to kill you every day, and he was your age. He was like, David, hang on, let's slow it down, David. Let's slow it down. Monty was tough. I used to see him do that. But
yeah,
there's no way dudes like that are 40 running with us back in the day. No way. And I'd say us, anybody in our generation.
they might be capable. It's more of the, and we talked about this, but it's more the mindset. Just
The
like
mindset.
52-year-old David is not running with 22-year-old David. It's just, can I? Probably. Do I want to? No. Do I have the heart for it? No. Do I have I don't give a shit what happens to me mindset that I did back then? No, I don't. And
can't.
that's the difference. With age comes that. It's not the physicality, it's more the mentality.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, what's Rand say? At this point, I'm going to give the airport guy with his hand down his pants napping at half the cost a job with the RBD. Amen, Malik is not the issue. It's yeah, 100%, man. Well, David, you're right, Rance. Look, here's the thing. This is what we say all the time. Joey Knox coming out of the seats. Please. Those are the fucking Tony Soprano. He says you should give the test for the PAB. Those are the Tony Soprano mob no-show jobs they got at the PAB. The board is a joke. How come this review board can be gone? No,
can't be gone.
can't be gone. No knowledge, etc. Can't. It's. Yeah, I agree with you, Al. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a joke.
That's my biggest complaint against Malik. And I've said it a number of times. My biggest complaint with him is that he hasn't been stronger against them. And as a former banker, someone that's should be fiscally responsible for the community, he doesn't look at them and be like, are you kidding me? This is a joke. We're done. We're
Yeah.
done. And the fact that he appeases that pisses me off. And if I sat with him and had a cup of coffee, I'd literally say that. I say, what are you doing? I get it. The first term, maybe, you appease, you want to get reelected. Like now, that guy's going to be mayor as long as he wants to be mayor. Get them the hell out of there. You're wasting people's money, and you're complicit to the theft that they are doing to the city. Like, you're signing off on it as the boss.
Hey, listen, after the whatever third or fourth victory in a liberal state like New York, when the Locust Club slammed their dicks in the door relative to the PAB, that was Malik's opportunity because it started under Lovely Warren. Started under Lovely. She continued it. I'm sure she just did it because she wanted to placate people in her party. And then what ended up happening was Malik inherited it. Malik should have just threw up his hands and then moved that $5+ million. $5 million is their a plus, probably over that now, their budget, whether it's, turning the lights on, salary, paper clips, all that shit. Should have slid it somewhere else. There's way more productive.
But I want to slam him on this. The difference is, whatever you think of Lovely Warren, she's a lawyer by trade.
Yeah.
She doesn't crunch numbers. Malik was a banker. He came from a bank. He worked at a bank. He knows the bottom line. He knows how to balance a budget. He knows where money's going and where it's not going. He's signing off on this, just like the money that's missing from our account. Where is the money? Why are you letting money go all over the place, go to the PAB, be stolen out of the police retirement medical fund? Why are you letting that happen, Malik? You're the boss. You're the banker. You are the king. You're the guy. You're the lead banker. You're the lead person that's fiscally responsible for this city.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree, David. You're 100% right. But, at the end of the day, what's going on is they just can't get people to sign up for this test. They can't. They don't have people coming in through the door that want to be, and they're doing everything they possibly can to get these kids in the door. And listen, folks.
And Johnny, what are you getting? Like, I'm not knocking them, but like, you don't think you're not going to see people on the front page more and more, because when we went through the process, and I'll say it, you were getting the finest. And I worked with them, and the guys and girls I worked with, they were fine human beings, and they knew not to get into, domestics and in trouble and all this stuff. I'm just saying that when you are struggling to put classes together, you're going to be taking risk on people, and you're going to miss at times. And when you miss on a police officer, it is big time bad. You're going to see it on the front page.
I'm going to tell you right now, man, there's stuff coming down the pike that we know privately through our sources. There's some local law enforcement that is having some issues right now. There's some local law enforcement. There's some people getting arrested in the media. There's some right now, with MCSO. I don't know how long they've been on, but this isn't just a 2020 problem. I think that since 2020, when you go through these hiring standards and you lower the qualifications to try to meet the person to get them qualified, you're having huge issues. My best bud, Teddy Caridi, was in backgrounds for 20 plus years. He was the best guy I had ever in the RPD, period, end of story. Okay, Teddy used to tell me, he used to go and fight with these people at City Hall. They're trying to push people through, and Teddy's like, fine, sign right here and say that you want to hire this person. I'm telling you, this person's going to be a liability. 9 times out of 10, Teddy was right. And then they'd go get hired by somebody else, and they were proven to be a liability. At the end of the day, when you lower the standards to get to a person's qualifications, you're doing nobody good. And the people that are going to suffer are the people in the community, the people that need, the Mrs. Johnsons on Conkey Avenue, the people that actually need help, And you start having shitty hiring practices, you lower that bar, it is going to be a shit show. You're going to have people getting locked up, domestics on duty, off duty, not showing up. You're going to have high sick call-ins. You're going to have people stealing money from dope dealers. You are going to have all these problems. But hey, don't listen to 2 retired cops that shoot it down the middle and tell you how it is. Because what we'll do is we'll have, again, what we call our Told You So episodes that we've put out a couple times We predict these things that will happen. Unfortunately, they're in our profession this time that we don't want to happen. But David, we'll have an I told you so. I'm going to tell you this right now. Bookmark this, Danny. Guarantee you we're going to have an I told you so episode about recruitment. Whether it's with the RPD or some other local town department or MCS, somebody, there's going to be an I told you so moment. Maybe not in the next 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, but it's going to be soon. And I'll tell you this right now, David, it ain't going to be pretty. And we're going to say, hey, this is the problem when you lower your standards. And I don't even think, I got to be honest with you, I don't even think, I know MCSO doesn't have any issues recruiting any of their bureaus. That's what I'm told. RPD is the main ones with the recruiting issues. I don't think there's any issues at the towns.
Well, I know that the state police just gave an exam, and I know that for a fact that they went down into the 70s, even for white males, to bring people in for a physical agility.
70? Trooper. Let's face it. Let's talk about the troopers for a second. Our generation.
I thought they would not have any problem. I thought if any police agency, the troopers with their pay and their propaganda that they put out for their marketing, I thought they'd have no problem. But I was shocking, and I'm not putting down this individual who took the test. They got called back, and he'd probably be a great cop. I think he just never had taken a test before. But I know that they're going into the 70s for bringing people back for background.
Unheard of.
Or for agility, and that just shows you how many people they're getting rid of.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Generationally, you have every profession, local, state, even federally, all their recruitment's down right now. All with the exception of the military right now, the U.S. government military, but recruitment's down. New York City's seeing it. RPD is seeing it. I think overall, law enforcement in general, you could throw a blanket over. I think generally recruitment's down. I know it's down nationally. But what they're doing now is they're just in the budget. These municipalities love it because now they're taking the money that was earmarked for these law enforcement agencies, and now they're taking it and they're doing bullshit with it, which is why they're doing their bullshit with the PAB. Anyways, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Danny, what's next? Oh, hang on one second before we do that, Danny. Danny, David, the difference between us and the crazy fucking left is, I'll give you an example. I've talked about this before.
We're not ugly.
One of my favorite. What's that?
We're not
one of my favorite shows, not of all time, but one that I could turn on any episode and watch. It's a show called 30 Rock with Tina Fey. She created it. Alec Baldwin.
Baldwin's great. He was great in that.
I mean, he was unbelievable. Now, do I think he's a douchebag? Do I believe in his political, crazy fucking ideology?
But he's a douchebag. But he was great in that.
But that's my point. Like, I could watch 30 Rock and be like, I appreciate it for I don't want to say this, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I can appreciate the art of acting and comedic delivery. I can watch that show if it's on anytime, anywhere. I give you that example because even though SNL isn't what it used to be, I think SNL has some funny fucking skits. And the last couple of weeks, first of all, that Marcelo Hernandez, who does Sebastian Maniscalco, he imitates him on SNL. I think that kid is unbelievable. He's a Miami kid, went to John Carroll University. He's only 28. This kid's going to be a rock star in the industry. But I say all these long, boring stories because I could carve out my political beliefs for a show or a person who's acting because I'm not some fucking crazy lunatic left-wing asshole. I could appreciate if something's funny no matter who says it. I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't seen this skit on Maha that SNL did last weekend, where they made fun of the Maha movement, Make America Healthy Again, with RFK, with it, Harry Styles was in it. I'm going to send you the thing, David. It is so freaking funny.
I haven't seen it. I thought Danny was going to pop out a clip right now after this lead.
No, he did. This was one of those things that I'm telling you that I wrote down here that I wish that I couldn't switch midstream. This is some shit I wanted to talk about. But anyways, SNL had this skit. I'll send it to you. It is so funny. They totally mocked the amount. But my point is, That's a difference between, and I'm not a Republican, I'm not a right guy. I call it like I see it. If things are, I can understand on the, I can understand some things on the left. The majority of my leanings are, conservative, Republican. I get that. However, I'm not a fucking d-bag, David. You got to watch this skit. You're gonna piss your pants. Google Maha SNL or Saturday Night Live from last weekend.
Yeah.
You'll piss your pants.
All right.
Piss your
I got
pants.
it.
Anyways, folks, what do we got here, Danny? I want to plug our good friend of the show. Our good friend of the show. He put out a memoir. It's a 38-page memoir. For those that follow him on Twitter, I think he's under Blue Line Voice. Josh Waddell. He's a retired brother of ours locally, not with the RPD, but he did do a couple stints in our Granite unit. Josh has got a book out. Talks about the burn pits. Josh is going through some things right now, some health issues because of these burn pits when he was in the military, when he was serving our country very valiantly. So check this out. He talks about the burn pits. They're basically fires that we intentionally set to get rid of stuff, batteries and all kinds of things that are not meant to be burned and breathed in. And there's a ton of our soldiers that have issues with their cardiovascular, with their upper respiratory. Josh is fighting some of those things right now. Check out his memoir. You can get it on Amazon. You can get anywhere books are sold. But it's a 38-page memoir that he has out. So check it out. It's called Still Breathing. Best of luck to you, Josh. Anything else, Danny? Oh, Miga, this one's the gift that keeps on giving. Man, Tony DeFonte, man, he rung the bell when he had us plug these guys. Folks,
Is he writing a check or what?
Hey, if he doesn't, we're just going to straight up rob him. Just go.
Jesus, I'm gonna rob that casino night. What's the charity?
It's called All In for RPD. Two wonderful, fantastic organizations.
I can't rob them then.
Called Our Parlor and Italio. Our Parlor is the retirement men and women who run that. Italio is the Italian Law Enforcement Club. They paired up. They have Casino Night, All In for RPD, Saturday, March 28th, 2026. Tickets are $65. And, of course, the infamous Mayor Pete Kennedy is going to MC the event. There's great food. 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the officers that were shot on December 19th, just before Christmas. Their names are at the top of the screen. The QR code's at the bottom of the screen. Support that event, folks. Again, it is Saturday, March 28th, 2026. David, that's a long show, babe.
Overtime, time and a half.
You're on 8 minutes. Now. Drop the slip, cuz. Drop the slip. So, David, Danny's in our earbuds. So we have.
Tell me about the new shoes.
Oh, they're fantastic. They're fantastic.
You're fasting them?
First of all, see, Danny, you see where this guy? You see, I'm not even gonna look at his face right now. I know he's smirking. I don't even have to look at his face because I know he's smirking right now. But I will tell you, they are. If I spoke another language, they are comfortable, which means comfortable.
So not fast.
Yeah, what do you think I'm gonna do? Jump higher and run faster?
I just asked if they were fast. Do they feel
I
fast
just
in
don't
them?
want to die. When I'm laying in the gurney
You're not
at
gonna
mile
die.
1, if I get it there, I want my feet to look good. So,
Do you feel like when you run in these versus your old ones, you have a little more
Yes.
bounce in your step,
Yes.
a little more spring in your stride,
All kidding
a
aside,
little more length in your gait?
yes, 100%, 100%.
Think you shaved a solid 8 seconds off your time?
I don't think I was shaving anything except my back. However, I will tell you this: the shoes are fantastic. Fleet Feet's a great organization.
What
which
color?
brings us to the FlowerCityChallenge.com, folks. Check them out. Fleet Feet, one of our OG sponsors, along with Rick Borelli. There I am with 2 watches on. David looking buff. It is going to be April 26th. Here's the deal, folks.
I feel like you're beating me in that picture.
David, come on. You do the math.
I feel like
Look
you're
at-
like right ahead of me.
By
What
the way, I'll
color?
tell you
What
what's
color
not-
are your sneakers?
White. So...
It's very
Wait.
racist.
So listen, hang on. FlowerCityChallenge.com. There's a half marathon, then there's a 5K. We're running in the 5K. You could walk or you could run. If you want to run with the Crime
You can
Dog,
walk and run.
right? Well, I'm going to be running. David's going to be walking next to me because I'm going to be running so slow.
No,
But
we're running. We're running together.
so, anyways, if you want to run or walk with the Crime Dog team, run. We're going to be there. We're going to have a sign. If you sign up for the Flower City Challenge and you pay, come to our team, run and walk with us. Afterwards, we are going to a local establishment where we are going to imbibe. We're going to have some drinks, and we're also going to have breakfast pizza there. And if you run and or walk, either or with us, if you participate, there is going to be a commemorative Crime Dog podcast shirt that we are doing for this event only. If we have leftovers later, they'll be for purchase. But if you show support and love to our people at Fleet Feet, which is Boots and Ellen, two fantastic community people, business owners, they do a lot for our Rochester area. Support them, flowercitychallenge.com. Folks, it's going to be a great day. We're going to have a blast. We're not making the event site public because, counting guys, count 15 F-bombs? Jesus Christ. That's
You
15.
might not. You're gonna have trouble.
No way it was 15.
You're gonna have trouble paying the mortgage with that.
Well, anyways, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Anyways, so we're not making the event. We're not making the event public, meaning the bar that we're going to afterwards public, because we just want it for those that are going to participate. But for those fans that are close to us and are dear to us that we trust.
In other words, if you're not running, you don't get a beer.
Well, we're not buying the beers. We're giving them breakfast pizzas and a T-shirt.
Right,
But
but you don't get the opportunity to have beers
with
in
us.
a bar and at 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
That's a privilege to be able to smash a beer at 9:30 in the morning.
That is good. There's nothing like walking outside buzzed. Nothing like walking outside buzzed when it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
What's your favorite beer? Like, is it shower beer? Is it lawn mowing beer? Is it after a run beer, workout beer? Is it before a workout beer? What's your favorite beer?
You asking me or the fans?
You.
Oh, first of all, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not a beer guy. I like
a cocktail.
Hang on a minute. I'm going to tell you.
Your fuzzy navel. When do you want it?
Listen, what do you say? I didn't hear him, Danny. Oh, fuzzy
So when's
navel.
your fuzzy navel? What do you want? Your white Russian. When do you drink?
Here's what I like to do. I'm going to tell you what I like to do. I like to sip on multiple drinks at a time. I like to have a beer, which is Mick Ultra. I like the way that tastes. I like it tastes. It's nice and light. I like a Mick Ultra on the left, and then every 15 minutes or so, I want to blow down a shot. It could be peanut butter whiskey. It could be Jack Daniels.
But what time of day is your favorite? Is it after you ever had a shower drink? You ever have a cocktail right sitting on the shelf when you're showering, just taking a little pull off of it while you're showering? You ever done that? Have you ever had a shower, like when you're pushing the lawnmower around, you go right to the holster, you pull out a beer, you take a sip, you put it right back in the holster? Or before you work out, maybe you have a nice pull on a drink and then you go for a run, or after? Run back to that cocktail?
When I was younger and I had the stamina, sometimes I would drunk run, but I mean, that was just because I was drunk all the time when I was a kid. So really,
so you don't have a favorite cocktail?
No, can I tell you why? Can I just tell you this? I do have a favorite cocktail. I like a Mick Ultra, and then I like hang on a minute, let me finish. I like a side saddle. I like a Buffalo Trace on the side. I like a sidecar. Yeah. I want a full glass of Buffalo Trace with ice, and I want my Mick Ultra, and I go left, right, or right, left.
You're double fisting. You're going.
Yeah, or if I'm not drinking Trace at the same time I'm drinking the beer, I like to drink the beer and then maybe do a shot of something. Like, I like to have a couple shots an hour, if that's what you're asking me.
I like to mow the lawn in a hot day. I like to put a bunch of ice in a plastic cup. I like to pour a Jenny Light inside of it and squeeze some lemon on it. I call it a trailer park. It's actually a trailer park is really a alcoholic Gatorade, and I pound that as the ice melts. I pound that as I'm mowing the lawn. That's one of my favorites. Also, after mowing the lawn or working hard, I like to get in the shower with a nice cold Jenny Light right on the shelf. As I'm showering, I like to crush that beer in the shower. Those are my
That's
two
an
favorites.
unexpected. I've never been a shower drinker. Maybe on vacation, but I've never been a
Oh,
shower.
shower beers are. Danny, what do you think of shower beer? Folks, if you haven't had a shower beer or a shower cocktail, I highly recommend it.
I will tell you this though. I'm not a big like when I used to go home from work. Like I never sat in my house and go, oh, work's over with. I got to have a drink. I never did that. However, I did go out after work when I was younger. But usually, once I came through the door, I wasn't
I don't
drinking.
literally drink late at night. Like if I'm drinking, it's usually like when I'm active, like when I'm doing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this though. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is, like I said, to answer your question, be very clear. I like to have. I'm
I
usually
got
two.
you.
I
Yeah,
like to have a sippy sip and a sippy sip.
you have your hard stuff and your soft stuff. You like your little yin and yang going on. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. I
All
like
right.
I like I like the taste of Mich Ultra. I'm not a beer guy. Like I'm not an IPA
See,
guy.
and I'm the exact opposite. I like
Ugh.
light beers, ice cold, and a lot of them if I'm drinking a lot. But if I'm having like a steak or a nice meal and I'm not drinking a lot,
Yeah.
then I want like a red wine or a really good bourbon, and that's it. No beer. Just that's what I'm drinking.
Okay. So now you went into another territory. If me and Pamtastic are going out, when me and Pamtastic are going out, and we're going to like say a steakhouse, when we go to the bar,
You're getting a vodka.
yeah, double
I already
double
knew it. I already knew it. I already knew
double.
what you were doing. I see. I knew what you were doing. I hit that slider before you even threw it. I knew what you were doing. I knew where you were going.
Hold that Alice thought. Hang on, keep it up there, Danny. Wait. So hang on now. So time out. First of all, I like a double gray goose with a couple olives, not the dirty olives, and I like those olives to get nice and cold and hard in the glass. I
Of
like to
course you do.
I like to get a couple of those double gray gooses down before dinner.
Folks, you think he likes that vodka? This play-by-play, this is like Vin Scully calling a Dodgers game in '86.
Listen, double gray goose, because sometimes I always go with the double. Double gray goose rocks, a couple olives, boom, in the cup. Okay. When it gets low, I want that thing to be filled. I usually do a
You
couple
don't want
double.
to. You don't want to ask either. You just want it done.
We went out to a restaurant 2, 3 weeks ago. Me, my daughter, my wife. I told the kids,
You don't
listen,
want to be doing this. You want. Listen, honey. What's your first name? Jenny. Jenny. I'm Johnny. This is what I like. Don't let it. Don't let it get warm. Just keep
right,
it.
keep
Keep
it
it
coming.
full. Keep it full. We're not
Keep.
keeping count.
Well, first of all, I like the double gray goose before the dinner, especially if it's a steakhouse. Then I'll do a glass of red wine with dinner, maybe two. We usually we usually do. If not,
Now you're going
if
to What are you doing? You're doing a cab, a merlot. What are you doing with your steak? Wait, what?
yes, yes,
You
I
like
used
a?
to do Merlot a lot. Now I do a cab or a
I like
cab
a
sauv.
cab. Yep, I like a cab.
Yeah, well, especially with a steak.
Absolutely.
Wait, let's go to this Al's comment real quick because we're running late. Wait, this is makes me laugh so hard. I love it, but my fave is a rum and coke, a shot of Ghost Slayer, never gets sick. What are you drinking?
All in one?
Well,
Like
hang on.
I like a Captain and Coke too, but I like that when I'm day drinking, like at the beach. Does she put the Golden Slugger in with the rum and Coke, or is that separate?
Okay, first of all, let me just say this: rum and coke and Goldschlager, right? What does
Is
she follow it up
what I
with?
drank that's what I drank in eighth grade, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Is there a Zima involved in this one? Oh, what do we got here?
Zero.
Straight shoes is Stoli right out of the freezer or Irish whiskey. Hang on a second. Straight shoes got a good point, David. Hang on a minute. Separate, she
Separate.
says.
All right.
All right. Let me just say this, David. When
I'm
you're
a
talking,
Jaeger guy. I like Jaeger for my shots.
whoa. Hang on a minute.
Ah,
Time out. If you open up my Garagio freezer, I have Zambuca frozen in there, not frozen but cold. Jägermeister, I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. I have peanut butter whiskey, like in the bottle, and we have my wife's. What's that cinnamon stuff? Red.
Yeah, fire.
Fireball. Yeah, my wife and her girls love Fireball. So there's always
Fireball.
a gallon of Fireball in the fridge. Then I got the peanut butter whiskey, the Jaeger, and I also have Zambuca. All cold in the freezer. As we know, alcohol doesn't freeze. But I'll tell you this right now. The only reason why Jägermeister's in my freezer, do you know why? Did I ever tell you this?
No.
First time I ever had Jägermeister was at Penn State with my best bud, Dr. Mark Rosso. Okay? I always say I went to Penn State because I literally was there so much visiting him when he was an undergrad. I should have just enrolled, but wasn't smart enough to enroll at Penn State. But Jägermeister at the Fiji House, Phi Gamma Delta, is where I had my first Jägermeister.
I
And
just
now,
love it ice cold. Like I'm not a big shot guy, but like if I'm gonna do one, Jaeger's on the top of my list.
dude, it's always in my freezer. Wait till I not invite you to the party
Yeah,
next year.
I'm not ever invited. I'm not invited. I still know what you're drinking though. I still called your vodka out when you're out for dinner.
Wait, hang on a minute. Fugazi, he's been dropping some hysterical bombs at the bottom of the screen. First, he started with David needs an intervention, and then he says, "Let's start the meeting." Hi, I'm Dave. Hi, I'm
Listen.
John.
You're only an alcoholic if you go to the meetings.
And you're a quitter.
Right.
You two are fine.
And I'm neither.
Thanks, Al. We appreciate.
I'm never
that.
going. I don't go to meetings. The only meetings I go to are the ones where I'm in trouble at home and I got to sit down on the couch and get a talking to.
Yeah. Well, David, this one ran a little heavy, a little longer. We know that. We can talk about. We should just have a booze episode.
I'm not allowed to drink during the episode. I'm dry.
By the way, Gary says I need a bigger. By the way, don't encourage Fire Guy Gary because he's already up my ass with my swearing. I tried to curtail it tonight. I thought I did, but apparently I'm at. Oh, Tullamore Dew. You know, by the way, Tullamore Dew. That's Tony DePonzio's favorite.
What is it?
It's an Irish whiskey. Zambuca. Man, we got some people that like their booze on this show. I love it.
I like these people that were like definitely running and gunning in the late 80s, early 90s. I can tell by what they're drinking.
That's right.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
Zambuca, I don't know anyone of this today's age that drinks Zambuca.
Zambuca's good. Well, Zambuca's a big paisan drink. I do like Zambuca as an after dinner drink with some coffee beans on the bottom of it.
What about, do you ever do these coffee espresso? I never had one.
No, my wife does.
My buddy Johnny, who you're gonna meet, is big on a coffee. He likes the coffee espressos at dinner after dinner.
Loves her.
Okay. What's your after dinner the dust settles drink? Like after the steak's gone, we're about to leave, but we're not quite ready yet. So now we're gonna have one more drink. What are you ordering? And this is a tribute to my old partner Tommy Janis. What are you drinking on that? Your parting gift.
All right, hang on. Can I get 3 guesses? Wait, am I guessing Tommy's or am I guessing mine?
Well, Tommy and mine are the same, but he taught me.
Okay, hang on. I'm guessing it's a snifter glass.
Yep.
It's
You get it?
It's either what's the one that's orange? The orange booze. It's not Crown, but it's shit, hang on a minute. I know what it's called. Am I doing it right? I always forget the name of it.
I don't know if you're doing it right.
It's a snifter glass. Is it sweet?
There's no hints. No one gives me hints on the murders we solved or anything like that. Like,
all right, I'm gonna say this right now. It's hang on a minute. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
if you get this, I'll be very impressed.
What is the liqueur that smells like oranges? Hang on. Not that. Grand Marnier. Is it Grand Marnier?
My parting drink is
For those that aren't smart, they'll pronounce it Grand Mariner, but those are the DJs. Grand Marnier.
A nice dinner, have a little glass of Grand Marnier. Tommy Janis, salute to Tommy Janis. Tommy Janis used to have a bottle of Grand Marnier, like literally in his car.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good sifting drink.
It's a really good. Yeah, you did it. You had it all right. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe that you were gonna get it.
Come on, David.
I thought you were gonna say a bourbon.
Wait, first of all, I thought I was guessing Tommy's.
No, I said Tommy and mine. He taught
Yeah.
me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I might sniff that. Listen, when I get going, I'm like a fucking garbage pail. 16 fire guy.
When you
Put
get
that in the
yeah,
jar.
when you get going, you're not pushing away the Grand Marnier when I order it. You're
What,
cheering me up. Yeah,
Leave
you
me
know,
a sissy? Of course I'm
right.
not.
Of course you're not. We'll worry about what it's like in the morning when it's morning.
Right. No, absolutely not.
We're not gonna waste tonight and tomorrow.
Not a shot.
No way.
Look, everyone's grabbing it.
Everyone should do a shot of Grand Marnier tonight before they go night night.
That's right.
You'll dream about sandy beaches and ocean waves and Kenny Loggins.
I love it. All right, boys and girls, we had a great show tonight. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. Denise from Down Under, thank you for tuning in. Fire Guy, sending our love to you. What's this? Double shot GG Bloody Mary with fruit, vegetables in it. By the way, I will tell you this, though. I did crush Bloody Marys.
I can't do them. It's the only thing I can't get it down.
No?
It's like a goddamn salad and a drink. I want a drink. I don't want a salad. I don't eat salads when I'm eating a salad. I don't, and it gives me heartburn and it's a salad. I'm not drinking a salad. I just want a drink.
Well, folks, there you have it. That's the Crab Dog Live Show. There's Fugazi says Yacht Rock, of course. Folks, that's it. It's Crab Dog Live Show here every Wednesday night. We may change our time back to 9:30. We got to talk about that with the team. Right now, we're staying at 8:30 p.m., but you know how those summer hours go. We may change it back. Here's the deal, folks. We appreciate you sticking with us and hanging in there. This was a long one tonight. We hope you stick with us for future episodes. But like my brother-in-law, Frankie Grassi, says, if you can't make it next time, who cares?